How's it going, everybody? I hope you're having a great day, a great night. I mean, you must be because you're hanging out with JBM Sports Media. We got Joe, we got Ben, we got myself. And as Ben promised in the last episode, we were going to have a special guest, our friend of the show, White Sox Louie. He is a monster White Sox fan, Bulls fan, and Bears fan. If you guys are not following him on TikTok, you are out of your mind. Some of the greatest content, funniest content. I mean, it makes me laugh every time I watch them. Even when his team is winning, he finds a way to crash out, and they're hilarious. I'm going to be honest. So, Louis, I just got to say, welcome to the pod. We're very happy to have you here.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We are going to obviously break down the weekend. We're going to get into all these games. Your team is, they're still in it. Great comeback win against the Packers. Sorry, Ben. But, here we are.
I had to rub it in. I had to rub it in one time. I mean, come on.
That's fair, man.
It's only fair. It's the rivalry. It's the rivalry. He gets it.
Absolutely. So, we're gonna break down these games, and we're, obviously getting another opinion in on the mix. So as we get into it, Ben, why don't you lead us off? What's the first game we're gonna talk about?
So, if we look at the final teams now remaining, just to look at the road to Super Bowl 60, we have Broncos, Bills, Texans, Pats, Niners, Seahawks, Rams, Bears. And looking at from start to beginning, we have the Broncos and Bills, and we finish off with the Bears and Rams. So guess what? We're going to start off with the Broncos and Bills, and that's where our predictions will begin. JB, I'll throw it to you first. How do you have this game playing out, and who do you have taking the W in this game?
I think this is going to be one of the tighter games to start this, this weekend off. Listen, I personally think that, the Bills do have, I think they do have the better quarterback, right? I think we all could agree to that. But right now, I do feel with the Broncos playing at home and with the way their defense is, they had the most sacks in the NFL with 68. They were the third highest scoring defense in the league. I do think that they could force a couple of turnovers, especially late in the game. And I feel like they do score a lot of defensive touchdowns at home. That's something that, just happens to be, either a coincidence or just a knack that they have scoring defensive touchdowns at home. So if that happens somehow, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Allen and that offense, to make some big plays. And I'm going to take the Broncos here. I really do think that they're going to stop the run as well, and it's going to force Allen to maybe in some passing situations where they become a one-trick pony. And if they do stop James Cook, I think it's going to be a long day. I think that defense is going to really have a stronghold. So I'm gonna go with the Broncos moving on and beating the Bills at home.
All right, I think that's a very fair assessment. When we did our OG prediction video, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had the Broncos. I think JV, you as well had the Broncos in the Super Bowl, like in general, right?
I did.
Right.
Yeah, I won't reveal my NFC side yet until we do that. But yes, perfect. I had the Broncos representing the AFC.
So did I. And looking at that back at that prediction video, I said as long as the Bills beat the Jags, they have a chance to go and make this run that they've been trying to make Josh Allen's whole tenure. No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow. Do I think that's still going to happen? I don't know. I just have a feeling that Broncos D-line is going to be really disruptive in this game, and they're going to find a way to put Allen in some uncomfortable situation. And I could see Pat Surtain getting a pick in this game just because Allen throws a deep ball. Gabe Davis, they lost him, torn ACL. Terrell Shavers, another guy that, he was holding his own in that Jags game as well for the Bills, torn ACL. 2 wide receivers gone, torn ACLs, both of them. Another obstacle that, Josh Allen now has to face, 2 of his receivers that are gone. I think Bo Nix, as long as he plays a clean game, doesn't turn over the football. I'm talking maybe he throws 260, 275, 2 touchdowns. The run game somewhat fluent, no turnovers. I think the Broncos win the game, and I'm going to stick with that. I'll save my final score prediction for this game. Matter of fact, I won't save it. I think the Broncos win this game 27-24. I think it's going to be a very explosive game all the way till the end. But I do want to trust Bo Nix and basically Sean Payton in this game, his play calling. And, I'm going to go with the Broncos taking the dub in Mile High. Louis, I'll throw it to you. How do you see this game playing out?
At first, I had the Bills. This is Josh Allen's easiest path to the Super Bowl. No Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow. But I don't know, man. Something about the Broncos over the week, I was like, they had the bye week. Yeah, and a lot of people want to say, oh, the bye week's going to mess them up, this and that. But I don't know. Mile High, I have a feeling the Broncos are going to pull it out. I do want to say Josh Allen wins. Like, I was debating either the Bills or Broncos the entire week. But right now, set in stone, I got the Broncos winning.
I mean, yeah, you know what? Like Louis said, going back and forth with this game, constantly in my head, what might happen? Who's actually going to take this? I mean, realistically, what I find interesting is, listen, the Bills, their secondary is phenomenal. They give up some of the fewest passing yards in football. They also run for the most, one of the better teams running the football, and Denver is one of the more better teams stopping the run. So, like Jay had mentioned that as well. So that's going to be a very interesting point. What is actually going to prevail? The defense, the run defense, or the run offense of Buffalo? I'm going to be honest with you. I think this game is going to stay very tight. I think it's going to be very low scoring in the beginning, and I think there's going to be one huge play that's just going to open the floodgates for one team. I think that's really what the X factor is. That is going to be. Sometimes that's all it takes. And I could see that being a thing, and I see that going on the Bills' side. I think the Bills are going to prevail in this game. Like Louis had mentioned, this is relatively his easiest path to get to the Super Bowl because no Lamar, no Burrow, no Mahomes. And it couldn't have come at a better time because Buffalo is the 6th seed going into this. So if they're going to have their easiest path so far under the Allen era to get to a Super Bowl, now would be the time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think another factor, if you look at, this Bills momentum, Sean McDermott, in my opinion, is basically coaching for his job this whole playoff run right here. He knows what's at stake. I think Josh knows what's at stake. I think, now, like putting it in my head, Josh being your quarterback, you always will have a chance. I mean, you saw what he did in Kansas City numerous times in the playoffs, 13 seconds left, 30 seconds left. This guy is a Superman. He's a robot. I mean, even in Jacksonville, all banged up he was making those throws. That's 100% possible where he takes over this game single-handedly, even with his legs. I just don't know if I trust his wide receiver weapons in Mile High. I just feel like it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be fun to see if he could overcome this adversity. And like you said, it is his easiest path, Mike, but it is his weakest roster he's had, I will say, in this Bills Josh Allen era. I will say that to give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, we three of us have the Broncos, and then Mike has the Bills. So yeah, let's move on to our next game happening Saturday night. And it is between the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Seattle, Lumen Field, to face the Seattle Seahawks. JB, I'll throw it to you. How do you see this game playing out, and who do you have winning this game?
Listen, I'm taking Seattle here. I just like the way that they've played on both sides of the ball. I think they have a two-headed monster when it comes to to their run attack. I think I personally think that Sam Darnold looks really good in this system that they have in place, and not for nothing, that defense is very formidable right now. It's extremely good. If they could somehow kind of find a way to contain CMC, I think Brock Purdy's going to be in trouble. I think it's going to be a long day. No George Kittle to me is a big piece to miss right now in the playoffs, and he's a phenomenal blocker too. So he's an added piece in the run game where you needed an extra block. That's no longer there. So they're going to need some help offensively, I think, and I think Seattle's going to make a lot of key stops, and I think Sam's going to actually have a lot of offensive output in this game. I think they're going to trust him to throw the football too. So I'm taking Seattle here, and if you want to put a score on it, I'm going to go 28-17 Seattle, and they move on.
Yeah, we saw this matchup week 18, and we saw an absolute, what could have been a shutout, if I could be quite honest. The Niners only scoring 3 points in that game. It looked like we had Legion of Boom 2.0 with that Seahawks defense. And looking at this game in Lumen Field, Seattle getting that 1 seed, they haven't had that place rocking in a hot minute, maybe since 2015, 2016-ish. That was the last time they really had that place rocking over there. Now, no Kittle with that torn Achilles, prayers up, speedy recovery. How does that, Brock Purdy, I understand people will use the stats. He is 4-0 at Lumen Field, and he's had a great run, but that was with weapons like Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle that are no longer there right now at this current moment in time. I think they expect McCaffrey to have a big game through the air because his running game recently has been very, very much so disappointing and underwhelming. I think if he doesn't get that going up and running for them early, then it's going to be at a point where the Seahawks are going to take control. JV, another point was Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker, that dynamic tandem at running back for the Seahawks. I feel like they have two guys that could easily eclipse like 180 rushing yards combined. So that's one thing to look at. I think JSN's going to have a huge game right here. This is going to be his welcome to the party moment in the playoffs. Sam Darnold, as long as he doesn't turn over the football, which I don't believe he will, at least not to a point where it will cost him the game, I'm going to ride with the Seahawks winning this game. And I think it's going to be a final score of, I would have to say 24-14. The Seahawks win this game. Louis, how you see this game playing out and who you got?
Yeah, man. After that, George Kittle, I know he's a really good tight end, but those injuries, they're gonna pile out. I don't know if they're gonna get Fred Warner back. I think he's coming back, right? Is that true? Fred Warner?
No, he's actually out for this game. He might be
he's out.
If they win this game, he probably will be back for the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think it's one more game. I think it's one more game.
Yeah, then okay, yeah, that even gives them more the benefit of the doubt. I got the Seahawks winning this game pretty handily, just like in Week 18. I just think they just have it all, man. Both sides of the ball. I know Sam Darnold has his recent playoff struggles and all that, but I mean, I just think this team is just too good. System, really good. And I know McCaffrey's going to be heavily relied on because, I mean, that's pretty much Brock Purdy's number one weapon now, or has been. But I got Seattle winning this at like 29-10. Seattle.
Oh, wow.
Wow, you're calling for a blowout.
Pretty much, yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, for me, looking at this, I mean, their offenses, if you put them up against each other, they're relatively almost identical. I mean, their total yards per game, you're talking 7th and 8th in the league between both teams. Seattle edged that out, not by much, by 2.5 yards for total offense. So that aspect, they are very similar. The passing yards are right just about there. Seattle edges them out, rushing yards per game. The points is about a 3-point difference, and this is, to me, the biggest thing. And I think this is what's going to keep San Francisco in this game. They're converting third downs. First of all, it's first in the league, but they're converting third downs at just about a 50% clip. I think that's what's going to keep them in this game, but ultimately, towards the end, Seattle's defense will just be too much, and it's going to wear down this offense. I think this is going to be a very, very good game. The potential to be maybe the best game of the weekend, and then I think later on, Seattle's defense is going to come up either with a huge play or a huge stop, and eventually maybe end that third down percentage. But that's the difference in this game. The defenses, honestly, Seattle is far superior on defense. So, and listen, they have the advantage of being at home, the 12th man. We all know, we all remember how that goes down in Seattle. That is no joke. That is not an easy place to play, especially in the playoffs. But I still think, San Francisco is going to show up. They are. It would everything pointing against them. This is, maybe the easiest game for everyone to say, they don't got a shot. No, they are going to be in this game. They are absolutely going to be in this game, and it's going to take that defensive stop or a big defensive play at the end that's going to, decide this game, in my opinion. I don't necessarily have a score if I'm going to throw one up. I'll say they're going to keep it close. I'm going to say 27-24 Seattle.
All right, fair enough. I think I could see the Niners, with how brilliant Shanahan is, keeping them in this game. Some of the play calling, even you saw it in the Philly game, that Jawan Jennings touchdown pass to CMC. It's crazy. I mean, this guy's a mastermind offensively. So I could really see it being a close game. I just feel like at the end of the day, that Legion of Boom 2.0, what they got in Seattle, is going to take over the game late. And that's where I believe Purdy's will make a few mistakes. And Purdy had a few mistakes in that Philly game. He had 2 turnovers that looked like they were just shitty reads, if I could be honest. And look, if he does that against Seattle, that's going to turn into points. I hate to break it to you. This is not the Eagles' offense. So I feel like all of us having Seattle here for a reason. Niners prove us wrong, but look, let's move on to what I think, Rose said this is probably going to be one of the most exciting games of the week, possibly what I think is going to be the lamest game of the week, and that is the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. JV, let me know what you think about this game, who you got winning as well.
Listen, right off the bat, I'm going to say, I think you're wrong. I think it's not going to be as lame as you think. I think it's actually going to be a pretty detail-oriented football game. I think we're going to see a lot of technical football, like a lot of nice blocking, very detailed route running. I think it's going to be a better game than you think. I'm going to say, though, forget the X's and O's. I think the Texans win this game. I think the defense is too good. Will Anderson, Derek Stingley. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr. He can guard anybody right now. It looks like he is just an alien from outer space. This guy is stuck to the wall. It's unbelievable. And Will Anderson Jr. I mean, he's got to be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL at this point. Forget the AFC. I think he's cemented himself in the entire league as one of the best pass rushers. And, it's safe to say that New England is going to face their toughest opponent yet. I know everybody was complaining about their schedule. It was very soft. They put up 28 points a game. They really haven't played anybody defensively. Well, you can't ask for a better matchup right now for this offense. And I'm really, eager to see what Mike Vrabel draws up. How that run game is gonna, come to fruition or not. Let's see what happens there. If not, if they can't run the football, Drake May's gonna have to make a lot of plays. And I think you don't want to become, too pass heavy with a defense like this. You really do need to have a balanced offensive attack. And if they can't do one of those two things good, whether it's pass or run the football, and have to rely heavily on one of those options, it's going to be a long day for them. I'm going to take Houston in this game. I'm going to take them 24-20, and they'll move on.
Yeah, that's reasonable. I said lamest game, by the way, because if you look at how wildcard weekend started and compared to how it ended with those two games, Patriots, Chargers, and Steelers, Texans, I mean, it was night and day of excitement in the playoffs. Do I think that this could be like, a low scoring affair? Could be. It's just, and I still haven't even picked a winner yet, to be honest. In my head, it's probably just going to come right now out of nowhere, right off the spot. I think Houston's defense is more than elite. I think it's probably one of the best defenses we've seen in a long, long time, with not even just Stingley, Al-Shaair, Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, like all dogs on defense. The one thing that scares me, obviously, it looks like we're heading to no Nico Collins in this game. So that means Christian Kirk turns into your wide receiver one. And that right there, I don't like. I don't like that at all, because I think that's where Mike Vrabel and that Patriots coaching staff is going to be able to cook and, mantle a lot of plays where the Patriots defense, who, like I've said before, they don't have household names, but those guys absolutely do what they have to do. Very disciplined. Vrabel got those guys cooking over there, bro. You know what? I've sold myself on it. I'm going with the Patriots to win this game. I think the fact that it's not Aaron Rodgers, Drake May's going to have mobility. He's going to make some throws. Yes. Is it the biggest game of his career? Absolutely. But I believe in this kid. And I think their run game is actually going to succeed big time. I think Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, kind of how they did in that Chargers game, I think that they're going to stay fluid. And then Drake May is going to have the big throw to either Hunter Henry, Stephon Diggs, even Keyshawn Boutte. These guys, like I said, might not be household names, bro, but they make the plays. And I think that's what it's impressive of Vrabel's first year in New England, how disciplined they are. So I'm going to go Patriots winning this game. Final score, I'm going to say 23-20 final score. All right, Louis, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, this game right here is really a toss-up. I like both sides, but I just think the Texas defense is going to be too much for Drake May. I think Drake May in his year two obviously had an MVP type year. And I just think, guys like Hunter, Anderson, Petrie, Stingley, all those guys are just going to be too much for Drake May and the Patriots. Although I do think CJ Stroud's going to have adversity because, obviously, I'm not going to have Nico Collins, like you said. But I don't know. I just see the Texans coming out on top of this one. The way New England played last week, I didn't really like how they played against the Chargers. I just have Houston winning this. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, probably 17-14.
I like that. Okay. I could actually see that. I could see a low-scoring game.
Yeah, I can see that also. My thing is with this is, I guess, your classic solid offense for a solid defense. Patriots are coming with the offense, and Houston's coming with the defense. My thing is, Jay mentioned it. A lot of people are in on New England because of their strength of their schedule, and you know what? I'm kind of one of them. And now all right, everyone's riding high that they went and beat the Chargers last week. The Chargers have been this way for the last 25 years. I remember one year the Chargers had the best offense in football and the best defense in football, number one ranked on both ends. They didn't make the playoffs. The Chargers find the most ridiculous way to lose games. They don't show up. They didn't remember to show up. They forgot their jerseys. They forgot their cleats. I don't know what the issue is over there with the Chargers. This is just something they always do. So I'm not necessarily, if the Patriots would have put up 41 points against them, maybe I feel a little different. I didn't think they looked as juggernaut, as strong as people are making them out to be. And I think that's going to come to fruition. And I think I don't want to call them frauds, but I think they're going to be exposed. Honestly, I genuinely think they're going to be exposed. Because, like I said, the strength of their schedule has not been, very good. To be honest, I think they've gotten it pretty easy this season, and now they're finally going up against a real test. Now, I'll be honest with you, if they do pull this win out, listen, I'll eat my words. It is what it is. I understand that, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm really just not feeling it. I need to see more, and this would be the game that they're going to have to prove it. So until they do, I'm against them here. I'm going to go with Houston. I could see a 20-14.
All right, that's honestly, I think it could be a possibility where Houston's defense does overwhelm Drake May in this game. Who do you trust more? And I'll throw it out to you guys. It doesn't even have to be a long response. Who do you trust more, Drake May or CJ Stroud? Be honest.
CJ Stroud.
I'm going to say, I agree with Louis only because he's been there and he's been in these types of games before. Drake May hasn't really experienced, playoff games yet. Listen, I'm not going to say he had a bad game last week, but the Chargers put up a stinker of a game. That was more on the Chargers than anything. I will say that the Patriots defense did play very well. I'm not going to say they didn't, but that offense isn't like an offense that struggles to score. They could have put up a lot more points than they did, and they only gave up 16 points. It's not like they lost by 30. You know what I mean? They lost by 13, and if you couldn't put up 13 points, that's kind of a shame on the offense's part because the defense did, in my opinion, well enough to win a game. You give up 16 points in a playoff game, you should be able to score at least 17. You're an 11-6 team. You weren't some just barely snuck in type of team in the AFC. So I blame the Chargers offense more in that game than I'll give praise to the Patriots defense. But I'm going to trust CJ Stroud only because I feel like he's been a little bit tested and he's played with guys like Mahomes, guys like Burrow before, and he's been a couple more playoff games. So I'll say Stroud.
Fair enough.
I'm going to agree with everybody here and also say Stroud as well. And I'm going to go based off last week. I know, listen, Pittsburgh is not that convincing. But you know what? To start that game, Stroud, how many times did he fumble the ball? He get a lot of turnovers. Some he recovered, but he did not look good to start that game. And then, listen, he found it. He found it, did what he had to do, threw for about 250, I believe. Like Jay alluded to, he's been around the block a little bit. He's a little more experienced. You know what? These are those type of games that'll make Drake May in the future. Now he's going to have that experience. He's going to have these, rough playoff games going up against, honestly, a solid team. A team that I feel like everyone's like sort of sleeping on Houston a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I feel like everyone's just kind of like looking past them. And I feel like that's a problem. And the Patriots should know all about looking past somebody. 18-1. I'll say that.
Like I said, even though I am the only guy that's going with the Patriots on this side, I could see the Texans taking over this game defensively, causing Drake May issues. I do believe, though, I'm going to roll with Drake. I'm going to roll with potentially MVP, runner-up MVP, whatever you guys that's up to your guys' discourse and your debate on that. But I don't know. I just feel like we're going to see a Vrabel offense right here, McDaniel's offense, where we're going to see why he's a better offensive coordinator than obviously head coach. I think that the Patriots will find gaps where they can make the big plays happen because they're going to get the run game going early. That's just how I see it happening. Could I be wrong? Yes, absolutely. But I'm going to go with Drake May and the Pats in this one, like I said. But let's move on to Sunday Night Football. Everybody's waiting for Sunday night. I know Louis is, because this is going to be a stellar game at Soldier Field. Cold game it's
Really
looking
cold.
like. And we have the LA Rams traveling to go against the Chicago Bears. JV, I'll throw it out to you, and then I'll actually skip and go to Louis next after you.
Yeah. So listen, this to me is going to be, a very, very hard fought game. Honestly, I think it's going to be one of the better games on the slate that we have for this weekend. And personally, I think Shane Waldron's going to have to really figure out what he's going to do to attack this defense. I think he's going to have to keep it well balanced. I think they're going to have to, really feed DeAndre Swift. I want to see Monangai get some touches too. I really feel like if they run the ball successfully, they'll be okay. And I think Caleb Williams has proved that he could lead this team offensively. He doesn't need to rely on his backs. He could take this team on his own back and potentially win a game. He's got some nice weapons. He's got Odunze obviously and DJ Moore. But honestly, at the end of the day, let's keep a spade, right? I think the Rams should win this game. I think Matt Stafford proved last week why he's a potential MVP. I think they have so many offensive weapons from Devontae Adams, obviously to Puka Nacua, and they have a two-headed running attack as well with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. And when they're clicking, they're scary, and their defense is no slouch either. I think if they make a couple of stops and they get Stafford in a rhythm, I think it's going to be hard to stop. Caleb Williams cannot turn the ball over. He cannot. He's got to protect the ball. The Bears in general have to protect the ball, but it starts with Caleb. He cannot be throwing interceptions. He cannot be fumbling. He's got to be the reason that they're in this game. Otherwise, I think it could be over, rather quickly. So I'm going to go Rams here. I do think it's going to be a very good game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout at all. I think the Bears are going to keep this close. I'm going to say Rams 31, Bears 23, and the Rams will move on.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like you said, me personally, this is really going to come down to Caleb Williams and what defense shows up. Because if we get the defense that's been showing up the past couple of weeks with no takeaways whatsoever, then this game's over. I think, that's the strong suit for this Chicago Bears defense all season long. The takeaways, Sean Wright being primarily one of them. But other than that, I really don't see how the Bears defense is going to stop the two-headed monster of Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I mean, Puka Nacua in and of itself is a monster of his own. So I don't know, man. I really hope Caleb Williams can come through for our Chicago Bears. But me personally, I just can't go against the MVP, in my opinion, of this season with Matthew Stafford. I think the Rams take this one. I know the cold is going to play a key factor, but Matthew Stafford's been playing in the cold. He was in Detroit before, so he's been there, done that. But I got as much as this hurts to say, I got the LA Rams winning and the Chicago Bears losing this. I think it's going to be a close game, though. Hopefully, Caleb can get some deep balls in there with Luther Burden being one of them. I have on my parlay, so Luther Burden, please. But other than that, I think the Rams win this 31-27.
Yeah, I think that's super fair to say. I think, when looking at this game, I think the Bears could very much succeed. The way that the Panthers played the Rams this past Saturday, I think there could be ways that Caleb Williams could really exploit the Rams, whether that's with him personally, his legs, getting first downs, breaking away from tackles, breaking away from tackles from reverse. Look, I think the Bears are going to be in this game through and through all the way till the end. And that's me being a Packers fan, unbiased. I do see what this offense is and how it could be clutch. I mean, they have the reason, the quote, cardiac Bears for a reason. They have that clutch factor in them. They always come back. I don't believe that they will this time, because I think this is where experience is going to matter. Guys like Puka, guys like Devontae, Kyron, Matt Stafford, obviously already a Super Bowl champion. I'm going to go with the Rams in this matchup right here. And I do believe that it's going to be close all the way till the end. But I'm thinking Stafford, legacy drive at the end. Maybe a field goal does it, or maybe even a touchdown. Puka redeems himself after that dropped touchdown last week. Maybe he gets one, a clear, vital one at the end. But I'm gonna go with the Rams win this one. I think this is gonna be the most high-scoring game of the whole weekend. I'm gonna go with the Rams winning 34-27. Yeah, I'll throw it to you, Mike.
You know what? I really believe that it's not even going to be Stafford in the beginning. I think it's going to be more his play calling, and I think he's going to call to the run game to kind of open up things for the Rams. I think that's how they're going to start this game off. I think the first maybe couple of series, they're going to be very run heavy, try to, break down their defense a little bit, wear them out, tire them out, and then he's just going to open up and light them up with the passing game. I really think that's what's going to end up happening. On the other side of that, though, with Chicago, I think Caleb is going to light it up on the stat sheet as well. I think he's going to do everything he can to try to keep this game as close as he possibly can. Like Louis had mentioned, like I'm going to say now too, Stafford should be the MVP of this league. That's at least in my opinion. I mean, how old is this guy with the team he's playing with? How good he's looked throughout the entire year. He's had a couple of hiccups here and there, but who doesn't? Nobody's perfect. Overall, talk about around the block. He's been there, done that. He's won before. He's gone into hostile environments, sometimes his own home field when he was playing in Detroit, and how bad some of the teams were that he played with there. So any amount of adversity that there is to have, Matt Stafford is relatively overcome. And I think overall, I just think this offensive machine that is the Rams is going to be too much for the Bears. Now, I think what's also going to happen is the Bears, I don't want them to step away from what has gotten them success throughout the whole year, and that has been the running game. I think that could hurt them if they abandon the run, because what I think is if the Rams do take an early lead and maybe jump out to a 2-score lead in the beginning, I think Chicago is going to completely abandon the run. And I believe that's a huge mistake, because that's been a huge asset to them and their success, and it's taken the pressure off of Caleb to do what he's able to do. So as long as they don't abandon the run, they're going to be in this game. I could see that happening either way, whether they abandon or not. I mean, you know what? Let's keep it interesting. Let's make this the game of the week. 34-30, I give the edge to the Rams.
Wow. Honestly, I think that's what it's going to come down to. Very much so last minute, very much so shootout. Before we obviously wrap this video up, I'll show you guys the game as well this week. I'll throw it to every single one of you guys. Just a question. What is the game you guys are most hyped about this weekend? JB, I'll throw it to you first, and then I'll go.
I'm definitely the most hyped about the Broncos and the Bills. I just think there's so much on the line for Josh Allen from week to week. There's so much pressure on this guy. Honestly, he's got to feel the pressure, especially. You know what? There'd be less pressure if Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson were in it, because then you could say, all these guys are in it, and it's going to be a straight out war. But now these guys aren't in it, and like Louis had mentioned, it's his clearest path to the Super Bowl, and I don't think he's actually going to get there anyway. So I'm still intrigued to see what he does game to game and week to week. So yeah, I'm going to take the Broncos and the Bills as being my game of the week.
My game of the week, I'm actually going to agree with you. I'm going Broncos-Bills, and I'm so glad it's starting off Broncos-Bills this whole divisional weekend. I just feel like the implications right here are crazy, bro. Broncos, 1 seed. Is that kind of fraudulent? They almost lost to the Raiders damn near twice. I mean, what's going to give is, and obviously Josh Allen, McDermott, if they lose this game, McDermott's most likely canned, if we could be honest. Josh Allen, this is your moment, kid. Like, there's not going to be a better opportunity than this. And even though the roster, like I said, is probably his weakest, I feel like the storyline's right there. If they beat the Broncos, they're not losing in the AFC Championship game, and I could already tell you guys that right now, because me and JV both had the Broncos in the Super Bowl, so they're not going to lose in the AFC Championship game. So I'll say Broncos-Bills is my game of the week. What about you, Louis?
Obviously, biased aside, actually no, full-on bias. Bears-Rams. I mean, I got to be honest. It's my team, the Chicago Bears. But if bias aside, take everything kind of all that away, the Bears aren't in the playoffs, Texans and Patriots, because I could really see this being a coin flip. I really don't know who's going to win that game.
That's a good point.
I'm going to be honest. Not to give I don't know what type of answer this is. I mean, I'm looking just forward to the weekend overall in general, and I have different reasons to look forward to every single one of these games. One being, obviously, is Josh Allen going to overcome anything? Is he going to actually, take the sleep forward? Is he going to get there? Is he going to beat the number 1 seed, the team in front of him? I am looking forward to that game. Also, some bias in that a little bit. I have some family members that are huge Bills fans, a close friend of ours that are Bills fans, so that's also exciting. The Texans-Patriots game does intrigue me, though. Kind of like what Louis said, he could see that being a coin flip going either way. And I just feel like everybody's sleeping on Houston. I really do. I feel like everybody's sleeping on Houston, and we might be a little shocked out of that one. So I think that's going to be the biggest shock factor. And then not to take away from Seattle and San Francisco, but I think that's going to be more somewhat, we gave our analysis there. But, I mean, realistically, if I had to pick one, if I can only watch one of these games, I'm actually leaning towards Rams-Bears. I'll be honest with you. I don't know why. I feel like that game is going to be really exciting. I feel like a lot is going to happen. I feel like a lot in this game is going to happen. A lot of craziness. I don't know why. I have that feeling.
Yeah, I think that's, very much perfect to say. I think that's going to be a very fun game to end off divisional round weekend. If there's anything you guys want to say to wrap it up at all, obviously it's been a great episode, great predictions, great analysis all around. JB, you got anything you want to say to wrap it up?
No, I just want to say it's always a pleasure, obviously, doing this. And Louis, thank you for coming on, bro. We really appreciate it. You're crushing it on TikTok. If you guys aren't following Louis on TikTok, you guys are crazy. You definitely got to smash that follow button when it comes to Louis and watch his content. He does great content, in the Chicago area for the Bulls and the Bears. Are you a big Blackhawks fan too? Are you into?
I'm not into hockey, but I mean,
No?
I'll root for them once they're good. I'll hop on the
All right.
bandwagon.
That's fair.
Yeah, but obviously, Lou, thanks again, brother. It was a pleasure doing this, man.
Oh man, I like to say appreciate you guys for having me, and bear down. That's all I gotta say.
That's fair. If I can, I'm also going to give my kudos, Louis. Thanks again for coming up with us.
Appreciate it.
We've done a lot of TikTok lives together, talking baseball. It's glad to actually talk football with you for the first time. In this setting,
Finally,
that was
because the Bears are finally good in the playoffs. So.
Yeah,
yeah. So that's been fun. Like to what JV said. If you guys are not following this guy on TikTok, you're out of your mind. If you want to laugh and get some good sports content and maybe learn a little something, by all means, go follow him. White Sox Louie. He is hilarious. His videos really do. I mean, genuinely actually make you laugh. Not just I said LOL and I didn't really know. His videos really do make you laugh. They're entertaining. Very good. He hits the ballpark a lot too. So if you guys aren't doing that, you're out of your mind. You're just as crazy as some of his crash outs, I guess. But listen, guys, this is always fun. And if I'm gonna do the spiels, I always do. You guys, any of the predictions we've given, if you think we're crazy for what we've said, if you disagree with what we said, or you just want to put your 2 cents in, by all means, hit the comment section on this video. As always, we appreciate you.